Oh yeah, that's another sub-MOA group. Everything that shoots multiple different loads, everything sub-MOA. I love this gun. I've really wanted a good 7 PRC, and so far it's looking like this can be it. Oh, and I love that action. It feels so good.
Do I need to leave you two alone for a little bit?
I just like it a lot, dude. Ah, that's a good action. We've reviewed 6 different rifles chambered in the new hotness, the 7 PRC. And we've seen more accuracy issues than with any other cartridge. So a company reached out to us a couple weeks ago and said, hey, we make a good 7 PRC. And so I was intrigued. I texted them back and I said, are you sure you want to send us a 7 PRC? Because we're going to be honest about it if it's not shooting well. And they said, no, I promise it's good. Just try this out. So Seekins sent us the PH2. That's the Havoc PH2. And we reviewed their higher end Element before, and we were really impressed. You know, it's a 5.5 pound rifle in 300 PRC, and it shot pretty well. And so I'm intrigued. I want to see if the Seekins finally has cracked the nut of the 7 PRC. Here's the gun, and we set it up the Backfire way. Garrett and I were just saying off camera that like this is exactly how I like a rifle set up. We'll walk you through it as I'm getting sighted in. First of all, obviously, we got a backstop recoil pad on there. Then we topped it off with an Athlon scope. This is the Helos BTR Gen 2 4-20. You guys know, like, this is my just go-to scope that I'm just putting on everything. We started carrying this scope because, well, it's fantastic, especially for the price. We got the anti-cants that we carry. I put on MDT rings. They're pricey, but man, they are good. And then we got our chronograph here in the Backfire chrono case. This thing is, that's how I like it. Oh, and we got our MDT bipod. This is the Oryx. This is the one we're using most commonly. It's only $100, and so we use it a lot. Okay, let's sight her in. Okay. Whoa. Oh, that action feels good. Garrett shot this gun already. I haven't shot this one. That feels nice. Like, you can tell you are dealing with a custom level action right now. Just, oh, I don't know. It just feels good. Oh, I went off a little prematurely. Yeah, it broke low, but that was honestly on me. Okay. The one thing that I struggle with, Personal Defense Network, and we thank them for sponsoring today's episode. Personal Defense Network is helping me because they have videos, tutorials, and live events in how to shoot a pistol and not have the recoil flip up so much. When I watch other dudes on YouTube, I'm like, how do they do that? The gun is just like dead in their hands. I got definite room to improve there. Plus, they have tons of cool courses on like counter knife attack and everything you could want for personal defense and using your firearms. All the classes are taught by reliable and trusted experts in the industry. It's a pretty cool platform, and they have an amazing deal on it. Like, no kidding, amazing deal. So you get a full year of watching all the videos. You're in Personal Defense Network for $1.49. That goes to the first 1,000 of my subscribers to click the link in the description below. $1.49. You got a full year. And it's an even bigger discount when you see that it normally is $112. So check it out in the description below, Personal Defense Network, and we thank them for sponsoring today's episode. So what is the Seekins PH2? Well, it's a little confusing, their product line. If you saw a company that made an Element version of an item and then a Pro version of the item, which would you think is the more basic version and which is the more expensive? Well, you'd think the Pro is the more expensive and Element means more basic. It's the exact opposite with Seekins. This Pro Hunter PH2 is their more cost-effective version, and then the Element is the big boy, right? Well, this rifle has kind of a cult following. I hear from you guys all the time, right? Like hundreds of times a day, comments, emails, and I just almost never hear of people having problems, especially with accuracy, in the Seekins line. It just has kind of a cult following. Now, that's kind of surprising because I think when some people look at this rifle, they give it a quick pass because they say, it's an $1,800 rifle. It has just a composite stock. It's not like a true carbon fiber stock. It doesn't have a carbon fiber wrapped barrel. It doesn't maybe have the look of the really expensive rifles. And so people kind of give it a pass. And I might include myself in that list, that I've kind of passed on it for a long time until you guys bugged me about it so much because you liked it so much that I had to give it a look. And I'm very glad that I did, because on further inspection, you see an action that's true custom level. Like, that feels like a nice action. It's that Remington 700 footprint. It's really easy to do, a trigger, anything you want to do to this rifle. I like that. I like having a rifle that you can change over time if you want to. Interestingly, these have mostly 24 and 26 inch barrels. That's a little bit longer than most other brands. I think it's suitable for a 7PRC that, because of the powder shortages, people aren't getting the true velocity that they want out of it any other way. You also see just interesting features, like it has a really nice high comb here so you can see straight into the scope. And one way they did it is by having this odd little slit right here so that the bolt doesn't contact the stock, but we can still get up as high as possible. That's a smart design. I personally really like the palm swell. The trigger, we were able to get down to 1 pound 8 ounces. It's overall just a really nicely designed, very functional rifle. But let's see if it stands up to the accuracy hopes. All right, we're ready to do some accuracy testing. This is a heavy hitting cartridge. We don't have any suppressor or brake on there. And so there's going to be a significant amount of recoil in this. Now, we have a decent backstop recoil pad and stuff on there. I'm not really worried about my shoulder, but often we see that as being a recipe for accuracy issues when you have a really light rifle with a heavy that has heavy recoil. And so if this performs better than sub MOA, I'm going to be pretty impressed because that's often causes problems. Starting out with Hornady Match, and we are running the Garmin chronograph here. I'm going to be kind of curious to see what velocities we get, because we all know about the Hornady problems with 7PRC velocity, but this is a 26 inch barrel. And not a lot of companies are making 26 inch barreled rifles right now. So we should actually get pretty good velocity. Yeah, 29.51. Boy, a 26 inch barrel is not bad in 7PRC. Okay, group's about an inch, nothing special there. All right, we are sub MOA in that group. I think 2 groups in a row, sub MOA with Hornady Match. That's encouraging. We're gonna let this cool down and then we'll try another type of ammo. Results of the accuracy. Gosh, I'm happy with this. All right, we shot 3 groups in a row, Hornady Match. I'm on cloud 9, great. We did find 2 loads that it did not like. One was the Hornady Outfitter, shooting the CX ammo. Now, I will put a little asterisk on this one, because if you saw our video this summer, Ron Spomer saved my gun, that one, we proved in that video that if you're shooting lead ammo through a barrel and then you're switching to copper, or vice versa really, you should clean that barrel, because we saw it just completely change the accuracy of a rifle. And so a little bit of an asterisk there. The other one that it didn't seem to like was the Federal Premium with the terminal ascent bullet. Didn't seem to love it, which is a shame because I would love to hunt with that bullet. But 3 more loads that it liked really, really well. These are from the Federal Premium, but with an ELDX bullet, 3/4 minute, 3/4 minute, great. The match ammo over here, we had one that shot over an inch. And that one just a little bit over, which was kind of surprising because we had 3 in a row that shot under. And then the Precision Hunter, 3/4 minute group and a minute group. So overall, I think we can definitely say this is a sub-MOA gun when you're finding the load that it likes. I'm extremely impressed with that, especially with how many issues we've seen. Companies struggling to get the 7PRC chambering right. It seems that Seekins has really nailed it. I'm pretty happy about this because I've really wanted a good 7PRC, and so far it's looking like this can be it. I want to show you two little things about this gun that I think are interesting. One is the action length. So this is a 7PRC. It's, you know, a traditional long action. But they have this in, you know, multiple different cartridges that they have this available in. An interesting one for me is the 6.5 PRC. So 6.5 PRC is barely a short action cartridge. I mean, you're going to be at 2.955 inches in the overall length of the cartridge. And so to magazine feed and everything like that, I mean, it's barely going to fit in there. And so if you're a reloader and you want to load that bullet out a little bit further, that's what's working well in your rifle, a lot of times you just can't. Seekins was very thoughtful in how they did their chambering of the 6.5 PRC, and they made it 3.155 inches, so you have plenty of length that you can seat that bullet out a little bit longer. So if you're trying to tweak, you do it. I like seeing little details from that in companies like this that are just thoughtful about, instead of just, hey, new cartridges released, bam, put it in all our rifles, grab a reamer and send it out there. They're like actually thinking about each cartridge and how to make it feed and work well. So what's the word? On the Seekins Havoc PH2, I think I'm pretty well converted. This is one of my favorite rifles that we have shot, certainly in the recent past. I love the functionality of everything. I love the firmness of the stock. I love the stock lines. The action is definitely one of my favorites. The accuracy was fantastic. It's not ammo picky. Like, it seemed to shoot a lot of loads well, which is great because I hate it when you get a hunting rifle and then you try a bunch of different loads and like the only one that it really liked was more of a match loader, not really the bullet you want to hunt with. So not being ammo picky is huge. It weighs 7.2 pounds. For a 7PRC, I would consider that to be way on the light end, honestly. Some people would say that's a tiny bit chunkier. I consider that light for a 7PRC. And it's still a tiny bit jumpy. I'd probably want to put a muzzle brake on this thing. But it shoots well. The trigger gets down to 1 pound, 8 ounces. It just feels good. This is just a rifle done right. The cons of this rifle are mostly things on paper. On paper, you say, where's the carbon fiber stock? But then you actually touch it and you see it's so rigid, who cares? On paper, you say, where's the carbon fiber wrapped barrel? But in practice, you say, I don't think I want to change the barrel. It seems to be shooting really well. And that, my friends, is what makes the Seekins PH2 stand out: functionality.